And the final draft grade of the 2020 season is the 2019 champion, Burgers Bombers, a.k.a. Moi. Starting out, running back is a definite question mark on this team. Raheem Mostert, who had a bang-up back half of the year last year, but is in a possible timeshare as the number one, is never a good sign. Jonathan Taylor, who's also in a backfield split time with the Marlon Mack. Hopefully he can show himself as that second-round draft pick and become more valuable at the end of the year because he has a great offensive line. Ronald Jones, who would have been a great pick before they signed Leonard Fournette. That's murky at best, but getting him in the 8th round was part of that. You know, he drops a little bit because nobody really knows how that's going to work. Then you got Chris Thompson, who is in a much better situation now in Jacksonville because Leonard Fournette has left. But he never stays healthy more than 5 games a season. When he does, he's very, very good. But we'll just have to wait and see. But it is the 4th running back taken at that point. Risk, has to happen with a team that obviously is going with a lot of mid-round people. Sony Michel in the 10th, he's the starter. He's back, and they said he looks good. Damian Harris is injured, so Sony might be able to run away with that. He's not going to be exciting, but 250 carries is 250 carries, and we can get that in the 10th round of the draft. It's something to at least have on your team. Then Nyheim Hines, another Colt running back, more of a PPR guy with Phillip Rivers that loves to check down to the running back. He could have some value. And then grabbing in the second to last round, Raquel Armstead, who could take over for Jacksonville. So I got 2 Colts, 2 Jacksonville Jaguar running backs on this team. Not the best, but obviously it's somebody grasping at anything that might be value at the running back position. So clearly that is a weak spot. Keeper was Michael Thomas, so that's a nice start with the wide receivers. Got Devontae Parker in the 6th. He ended up as the 8th wide receiver overall last year if he takes past week 4 on. Once we got rid of that Josh Rosen kid from starting, he was a wide receiver 3 for the entire season. He has the capability, but he hasn't shown consistency on doing it. Just last year was a one-hit wonder. So we'll see how that pans out. Marquise Brown, a high upside guy that comes with some risk. He was injured a lot last year, but he has shown that he can burn defenses. Then you got Deshaun Jackson, who is the guy that has always been able to burn defenses, but will he still have it? The nice thing about Deshaun is everybody else is kind of hurt there. 11th round pick to possibly be the number 1 wide receiver for that team is not a bad take. Will you get him all year? Probably not. He hasn't had a full season since 2014 where he's played all 16 games, but he's a guy that you can stick in there a couple weeks here and there on good matchups and see what happens. And then Brian Edwards, a rookie out of Las Vegas who's actually starting over Henry Ruggs at this point in time in the season. He fits the outside better where Ruggs will probably be just a deep burner, maybe come in and play some slot. But there's been a lot of good talk about him, and in the 12th round, it's worth seeing. The reason why my running backs are a little bit weaker, and there's so many of them because I knew they were going to be weaker, Lamar Jackson taken in the 3rd round, basically the end of the 2nd, start of the 3rd. That causes some issues. Also, when you take George Kittle in the 2nd round, great tight end, great quarterback. I got on this team, you got Michael Thomas, who could be the number 1 wide receiver, Lamar Jackson, who could be the number 1 quarterback, and George Kittle, who could be the number 1 tight end. But then you got to fill in the gaps with a lot of question marks. So the team has an okay foundation with some really good pieces, but you look at the running backs, and it's going to be a problem. Tennessee Titans defense in the 14th round. That's just because they play the Colts and the Jaguars twice a year. They have a good opportunity there, and the Texans with their new rebuilt offense that they've done. But overall, is this a team that you're really excited about? No. Does it have a lot of possibility? Yes. You have some really nice key pieces, and you went deep on running backs to try to make it something. But then even then, your wide receiving core is not strong either. So you have a powerhouse tight end, you have a powerhouse quarterback, and you have 1 good wide receiver, and the rest is put together on some duct tape and prayer, isn't it? Overall, this grade, Lamar and George Kittle brings it up too, but it's probably still a C+. The opportunities there with the running back group, you have enough that there's somebody that could show out, but if you're looking at the overall draft standard right now, it's throwing darts and seeing what sticks. And the more darts you have, the more opportunity. And that's what happened here. But even with that being said, your darts aren't very sharp. So C plus from first to last, maybe. I doubt it because there's enough good talent in there. It's just going to take a lot of effort during the season to be able to keep up on everything.